All right, this morning we've got a 2007 Honda CR-V. Customer's complaint is that the brake pedal is spongy. It looks like it does, but it's not the most confident braking ever. Anyway, so a lot of brake work has been done to this car. New rotors, as you can see here. Apparently, one of the most recent repairs was a front passenger side caliper. But to start, we start with the brake inspection. Looking through here, you can see it has good pads, which is, I've kind of looked the car over already, found something, so we'll start there. With the brake inspection, you want to look at all the hardware, make sure you have good brake pad material, make sure the rotors are secure, true, within thickness specifications and whatnot. But a lot of things that are overlooked sometimes are the hardware's function. And so you can have things where, over time rust can prevent the pads from moving. Rust jacking will kind of pinch the pad in between the caliper slides here and it won't move. We've got movement here, okay? Something else is that this caliper, all right, it's a full floating caliper. It kind of works like a fist. So essentially it, grabs, but unlike the fixed or non-floating calipers, instead of pushing from both sides, what happens is it pushes here, and because to push forward the piston comes this way, the caliper body goes the opposite way, so the piston will be pushing on this pad, the caliper body going backwards that way now has two fingers as part of the body that comes this way and will grab this pad and pull it that way. So while the piston's pushing this way, the caliper body is grabbing that one, squeezing them together. Well, for this body to slide, it's bolted into these two slide pins here with a little accordion boot there, right? You got to make sure that these slide freely. Got that in the way there. All right, so there you can see that. All right, so these are not binding. I've checked this new one. It's not binding either. I took the bolts out because what I typically like to do, and I've done it on this side, is I'll just kind of pull this one forward, and as you can see here, both upper and lower slide pins move on this. So we got no binding here, and you can see that the pads are not rust jacked. Okay, we come to this guy. All right, so again, pads aren't stuck in the caliper. Well, spoke too soon there because I had not gone for the inner, which I still will do. I just get that shim back on. Yeah, it's a little bit of rust jacking there. That one's kind of stiff. So essentially we'll be pulling them out, cleaning off all this debris and build up. But here's what we're looking for with slide pins, all right? Unfortunately, this guy's stuck, okay? Not moving at all. So any application of brake, pressure that we have will only be to the one pad here. And depending on how stuck it is, I've seen them to where with extreme pressure, you might get it to grab. But if you don't, then you don't get, you only get basically about 50% of the braking force from this wheel. So that takes up a lot of pedal travel. So what we're going to do is we're going to take off these calipers, clean them, lube them up. Now, one of the other things, since it's had a lot of brake work done, you'd expect the system to have been bled properly. Could never take that for granted, but what I'm going to do is one thing at a time. We found one problem. I'm going to clean these caliper brackets, lube the slide pins, clean and lube the caliper brackets, lube the slide pins, and then drive it again. For all we know, for all the money we've spent, we probably were dealing with something that simple. All right, just a quick inspection of the brakes here. I've run around the other three, and I got to this one. So what we're looking for, these are the slide pins for the caliper. Basically, when you press the brakes, the caliper pushes on this pad with the piston. Where is it? That little circular piece pushes out but this whole body will push. So once it pushes forward into this pad, the body goes that way, and these two hooks on the end, because the caliper is going that way, grabs this one. We want to make sure that they're not stuck so they can move. This one looks like it could use some help. It's stuck, but this is the only way that body can move backwards. This top one here is seized. So let's start with the service of the calipers, clean and lube them up, and then we'll come back, show them working, and go for a road test. All right, so this is the passenger's rear caliper, and this is the inner brake pad where the piston pushes. Now this should slide. This should slide here real easy, but you can see rust buildup. The other one wasn't that bad to move, but this one, you can see it should just slide out of there. This one just came out. So we're gonna have to tap this one out, get it out of there, clean up this slide, and lube this slide. The pins are okay here. The slide pins are okay. We'll just add some more lube to them, put it back on, and do the other side. The other side's inner pad, and one of these slide pins is seized. So we'll kind of do that and then go for a road test. The fronts are okay, but just in case nothing changes, then we'll look at the fronts a little closer. But I'm pretty sure that the fronts are okay, and this is a problem that we need to solve first. All right, a few love taps, and the pad just came right out of there. It wasn't too tight. I've had to beat heavier stuck ones out before, but yeah, I don't really see much of a problem here. I'm going to clean this off the wire brush and lube it up. All right, so this is what it looks like after wire brushing it. All right, and then I'm going to put some lube on here, and then some caliper lube. That stuff. All right, and I'm going to clean the corners off the pads too, where they kind of ride there, and pull some of this guy out. Okay, so we're going to clean these off and apply new lube to them too. All right, so first we clean the pin, coat it with grease, and slide it back in. And do the same thing on the other side there. All right, I'm hoping I can show this with one hand. So I've put that grease there is the Molykote grease that comes with Honda brake pads. I had some leftover, comes in the box. I had some leftover from a previous brake job. But you know, to make sure that all things empirical go well. So you can see now, hopefully it shows. That's how this is supposed to be able to slide. No fuss, no muss. All right. Getting a little bit of a hang up there still, but it's not stuck. And that's the whole idea. In later models, there you go. So in later models, they actually put little return springs. Little doohickey like this. All right, they drill holes into the pad, and then this spring will kind of separate them when you let off the brakes. But I'm gonna clean and lube the edges off the other one here, and put this on the car, do the other side, and we'll go for a road test. All right, so did a little cleaning off of the edge of the rust build up off the edge of the pad, and applied the Molykote to that too. Slides free. So let's go bolt this up on this side and do the other side. All right, so this air hammer is going to be the mode by which we apply brute force in judicious amounts to the edge of this pin to get it to come out. It'll be pretty loud, so I might have to mute this, but let's start and see what happens. Alright, it's a little bit stuck in there, but I think I can get it out now. Alright, and that's what we're looking at. So, you got dry, focus, yeah. You got dry, no lubrication, and then the rust buildup kind of jammed it into that hole. So, we're going to clean all this off like the other one, make it shiny, lube it up, and then we're going to have to get into that hole and clean that up too. Get a wire brush in there, scrape around. All right, let me get to it. All right, sit rep of these actually weren't that bad. They didn't have that much rust on them, surprisingly. I don't understand how the pad got jacked in there, but I've cleaned up what little rust was in there and lubed. All right, let's get you in here. All right, and as you can see, that slides. Come on, stay put. All right, so that slides freely there. The one on the outside will slide freely there. Okay. This was a slide pin that was moving earlier. We put some grease in that one. This is the one that was seized that we hammered out. And it's moving fine now. So let's go bolt it on the car and go on our road test. Okay, so I had to pull over there real quick. Got a phone call, but the first initial, like at the end, the brakes do bite, and then the second pump, they come really high and hard. Yeah, and then after you drive, the next consecutive pump is a long pedal throw. So I'm going to now go and bleed, because that feels like I did tell myself I would check that left front one, the inner pad, just in case it was stuck. I had pulled the right front and checked that by pulling the caliper off and everything, but I did not check the left front inner pad. So I'm going to check that and then bleed the brakes, just make sure there's no air bubbles in it. If there are, purge those, and then drive this again. All right, so done the other three, but just to show the process here, got the vacuum bleeder. Screw there, and you'd probably be able to see the fluid go down just above the filter there, and there it goes past the rim. So just to speed things along here, a couple of light taps on the brake pedal. We'll keep an eye on our level. And shut this off now. All right, good pedal. Yeah, I did bleed the brakes, and the first wheel I did was the passenger rear, and when I gave it the brake pedal assist while the vacuum bleeder was sucking down, I felt longer travel than I felt on any of the others. So I'm wondering if there was an air bubble trapped in that line. But now I can just put my foot on the brake and immediately get action, and yeah, I don't have to double pump or anything, and pedal doesn't sink, so I believe we can call this one fixed.